Hello and welcome to The Fourth Wave, a podcast named after the fourth wave of feminism that aims to inspire, empower, inform, and celebrate the woman of today. Each episode, we will give you strategies and ideas for living a life as your most empowered self. This week, we will talk about the importance of knowing what you want in a partner, the complications of staying with a cheater, and a trick that always leaves us feeling powerful and able to take on the day. I'm Mirtha Michelle, a best-selling author and poet. I am your host and co-founder of The Fourth Wave, and I'm here in Los Angeles, and I'm alongside co-founder, who, by the way, has the cutest vintage shirt on, Jamie Barada.
That's me, Jamie Barada, an entertainment and fashion attorney living in Los Angeles. Thank you, Mirtha. I got this at the Rose Bowl, the swap meet, best swap meet ever.
I haven't been there in such a long time. It's so overwhelming, but it is perhaps the best swap meet ever.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. Okay, so we love to start off our show by sharing strategies that help us feel a sense of empowerment in our daily lives, things that work for us and hopefully can work for you too. So please write us in with what works for you at info@theivywave.com, or you can DM us on Instagram or Twitter @theivywave, whether it's things you have questions about, topics you want to hear us address, or if you have your own strategies you want to share. So this episode, we want to share with you the importance of knowing what you want in a partner, a romantic partner. And this can be difficult for some. It used to be really difficult for me. I think that in some ways it's easier to know the things that you don't want. So we're going to start there with knowing your deal breakers.
Deal breakers. So important to know what your deal breakers are and to write these down. For those of you that haven't heard this term in the relationship sense, these are non-negotiables. Mm-hmm. Things that you will not bend on. If this person has or doesn't have it, there's no entertaining that person. We've all been there.
Yes. And it sounds a lot easier than it really is. And I honestly did not know how to master applying this to my dating life till recently.
By the way, Jamie has a boyfriend and he's a pretty good guy.
So. He's amazing.
So
take my advice.
She's mastered it.
I'm a master now. But really, honestly, once I did, I was finally in the right relationship for me.
I obviously have not mastered it. Yeah, it's hard for a lot of people knowing what your deal breakers are. But following them is another. Mm-hmm. Because let's face it, it's hard to take the emotion out of things, especially when you feel you have chemistry with someone.
Yes.
But it's not always about chemistry. I know it sounds crazy, me saying that, since I'm so passionate. But I have learned that the hard way, that it's not always all about chemistry, and that sometimes you have to stop yourself from forming the chemistry with someone if they hit one of your deal breakers.
Right. And I mean, it sounds really dumb, but when I was younger, and according to Mirtha, not till recently as well, I knew I had deal breakers, but then I would bend them. I would ease up on them.
Jamie, the whole point of a deal breaker is that let's separate the words deal and a breaker.
Right. No bending.
You broke the deal. Yeah, no bending. And, it's something interesting because you have to, it takes time.
Yes.
It takes time to even find out what your deal breakers are. You have to date a few guys or girls to know what your deal breakers are. So
Definitely.
It's really important because the last episode where we were talking about setting our intentions, you have to set your intention with the people you date as well. Otherwise, you will just get swept up by anyone.
Yeah. And I mean, we love to get swept up. We love to get caught up. It's so romantic. Even when we see red flags. But I mean, it's okay to have standards. We should have standards. We should be strict about them. And you can really be as specific as you want to be when it comes to knowing what you want or don't want in someone.
Okay, so deal breakers. Let us know if you tried this at home. Write them down in your phone, in your journal. Set your intention for the type of partner you want, and let us know if this helps you feel empowered in your dating life. You can get in touch with us on Twitter. Drop us an email at info@theivywave.com, or go to theivywave.com for contact info, links, and everything else related to this podcast. So the topic for today's podcast actually came from one of our IG followers, and it's a really juicy topic. staying with a cheater.
Ooh, I think
I've done it.
I've done it. I think
we've all, a lot of people have done it.
And if you haven't, like, you're
I
my idol.
shamefully have done it.
Right.
I'm ashamed. I've done it.
And it was really great when that's why we really love when you guys message us with your feedback and questions, because I loved when this IG follower wrote in, and we usually give credit, but I don't know.
We're not going to say her.
Right. I don't know if she doesn't
handle.
want it to be disclosed, but she wrote in and asking, please talk about what it's like to stay with a cheater, and especially what that's like on your friendships. And we both have plenty to talk about here.
Plenty. First of all, cheating is just such a sensitive subject.
Yeah.
And so many people judge the person who stays with the cheater.
Right. And at the end of the day, it's not your relationship.
So you shouldn't judge it, because every time you judge someone, I always feel that the universe comes back and tests you with it.
Right. And you don't know what else is in that relationship that's making that person happy, or, whatever.
Only
whatever
the two people in
is.
the relationship really know what's going on.
Right. But it does go back to that idea that we just discussed about knowing what you want in a partner.
And having standards.
Because what you don't want, I think, is...
You never want to be the doormat.
Right.
Ever. And, and sometimes... Have you ever cheated, Jamie?
I mean, yeah, when I was earlier on. Probably in my... Okay, so definitely in one of my high school relationships.
I've made some mistakes, but it was never intentional. So I always feel that cheating is not part of my DNA. I'm a very loyal person. So I think that there are those cases that sometimes someone can make a mistake.
1,000%. Because we're human.
Because we're human. Depends on the circumstances. Maybe, sometimes people take a little break in their relationship, right, and then someone else kind of swoops in there, but then you get back with your boyfriend. I mean, I think we're all human. We've all made mistakes. But there is a difference between someone who made a one-time mistake and then the person who constantly keeps on cheating.
And not to say one is okay and one is not, but what's also really important about that is knowing yourself. What can you tolerate in a relationship? I think
what does it do to you, to your mind?
Right. And for some people, it affects them, and some can actually get through
self-esteem.
Some can get through it though, and I'm sure it's made a lot of relationships stronger in some cases, and then it's made a lot of relationships end in some cases. And for me, I think one of the first times, or at least that I was aware of dealing with cheating, I think I overestimated myself so much, and that's why I stayed in the relationship. I was like, okay, I love this person. We can get through it. But I learned then that I can't.
Is that sometimes we allow people to have a certain power over us? Mm-hmm. So when they cheat or they do something that we say that we can't tolerate, they come back so strong that they're able to reel back us into the relationship. But I learned from dealing with cheating circumstances that when someone really loves you, they consider your feelings. That's one of the things that I've understood about love.
Yes.
From all the things that I've experienced, that is the biggest thing I've understood.
Yes.
That when someone loves you, they consider your feelings and they consider how that is going to affect you.
Right. And going back to the idea where we said, but everyone's human. Yes. So, but when you love someone, it means taking into account the fact that you are human and doing what you have to do to be loyal to someone. So being in control of your settings. Obviously, if you're a man, let's say, and you're going to be drinking out till 4 a.m. and you're going to put yourself in a situation with, a certain type of woman, it's going to be a lot harder maybe for you. So control your settings if you really care about someone.
Control your settings, the people you you place around yourself. And I mean, some people are okay with open relationships. So if you have an issue with cheating, then maybe you need to start dating people that are okay with open relationships.
Right. It's just finding, I guess,
finding someone that is okay with how you want to live your life. But in terms of staying with someone just because you love them.
Right. Not enough.
It's not, love is amazing, but it's not enough if it's coming 100% from you and only 50 from the other person.
Right. And that's why,
it doesn't work that way.
So important to know what you want in a partner before it gets to this stage. And then you're like, shoot, but I'm in love. I can't, then you're handicapped a little bit as to being able to make a decision for yourself. Too. Yeah. So yeah, it's a sensitive subject. And then yes, it does end up affecting your friendships and the people around you.
Before it even affects your friendships, it affects yourself.
Right.
I know that when this happened to me, I questioned myself. I was always such a confident person, and I questioned myself like, oh, what did that girl have that I didn't, et cetera, blah, blah. And it's not good to doubt yourself.
It was horrible for my self-esteem, for sure.
It's terrible. It's like that is the main sign that you need to get out of the situation.
Yeah, because
you need to get out of the relationship.
You want to be with someone that empowers you,
that makes you feel good.
Yeah, you're like your best. Like there aren't those. I mean, we all have self-doubts, but not someone that's going to add to that.
It's going to feed into it,
right?
Yeah, but you were about to say something about friendships and how it affects friendships.
Yeah, because that's a real thing. It doesn't just our relationships, the people that we bring into our lives. It doesn't just affect us. It affects our friends, and it can be a difficult thing staying in a relationship for sure when your friends know about the cheating. The friendship dynamic can put some strain on it.
This reminds me, my sister, she is such an open human being. That's how I can describe her. She would tell my mom everything about her relationships, everything to the T. And so if she broke up with her boyfriend for whatever reason, she always took him back, always. Mm-hmm. But she divulged everything to the point that we started hating her boyfriend.
Right, that's what happens.
That's what happens, and that's what happens with friendships too. And I've made that mistake. Years ago, I said a little too much to some of my friends, and it took a long time for them to start seeing this person I was dating in a different light.
Right.
It took a long time. Like he really had to work.
Yeah.
For them to see him differently.
I think it's amazing to go to your friends for advice. I guess I would just say,
but if you're really not done with that relationship, be careful what you share.
Maybe if you're in the middle of something like an argument, or give it a couple of days to cool off, so that you're not going to someone from an completely emotional place. But I get it. Sometimes it's hard. You need someone to talk to right away. Just keep in mind that people will be forming their opinions about.
Have one confidant. Don't tell everyone. Don't tell the world. Right. Don't start tweeting it, and
that's important too.
Start
have a who's like have a confidant.
Expressing your feelings over Instagram. Always.
Oh my God.
It's so funny because this is going to be another podcast, by the way. Social media and relationships.
Yes.
Because I always notice when someone is going through issues in their relationships.
Yeah.
Always. It's like a certain quote they post. Obviously, a lot of times people post my quotes from my books. And I'm like, breakup time.
Right.
But yeah, sometimes, it's good to keep certain things private. I know it sounds ironic coming from me who has made a living off of sharing.
Right.
But none of you guys know who I'm dating now or who I'm not dating.
Right. And then on the flip side, don't keep things too private, because there are also a lot of time, like there have been times, for example, where I was guarding my boyfriend or protecting them, not sharing things. And then what happens there is then you're never really getting, like you're never really looking at a mirror as to like what's going on in your life because you're not sharing it with anyone. So it's kind of this, I don't know if
living
it's denial.
in a bubble.
Yeah. Living in a bubble.
And that brings sadness.
For sure.
When you're bottling things in.
So you want to find a balance.
But you have to be careful that if you plan on staying with someone that did something that wasn't too nice, then you have to be aware of the consequences of sharing what that person did with your friends.
Right. Yeah, it's all about just knowing how much you can tolerate, knowing what you need from someone, and having a balance as to how much you share that with, the people in your life.
It's interesting because as I've gotten older, I've been more aware of that. Mm-hmm. And it goes back to just knowing what you want in someone. I pay attention to certain things that I normally didn't always pay attention to. I always say that when you're in your early 20s, you start dating people just off of chemistry.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he was so cute, and you start entertaining it. And then you end up falling into a very serious relationship.
Yeah.
But sometimes this person doesn't have the qualities that you look for. And sometimes you don't even know what you want at the time.
Right.
But as I've gotten older, I've been able to make that list of this is what I want. Mm-hmm. This is a deal breaker. Mm-hmm. This I absolutely cannot tolerate. Mm-hmm. And it has made dating definitely harder because you spot the things that you don't like immediately.
But that's good. Like,
but
you're aware.
Good. It saves so much heartache in the end. So much heartache. But definitely one of the things that I know I can't deal with is the whole cheating thing.
Yeah, I can't either. I learned that about myself.
Some women are okay with it. They say, well, as long as he comes home to me and I'm the one that has the ring on, and they're taken care of, et cetera. Everybody has their philosophies in life. But one thing I do know is that if it's affecting your interior, like how you view yourself, then you're not okay with it.
Right. Even if you tell yourself you are.
Even if you tell yourself that you are.
Yeah. So touchy subject, but thank you to our IG follower for bringing that up because it's super important to talk about. And I mean, we've all been there. And again, if you haven't, you're amazing. Power to you. So yeah, well, every episode we're going to leave you with a little self-empowerment booster tip that we use in our personal lives. And they'll be simple and straightforward. And getting away from this touchy subject, my personal booster I want to share is wearing red lipstick, and which is kind of weird for me to say, I guess, because I know
red lipstick is powerful. Are you kidding me?
I don't wear that much makeup, but yeah, red lipstick. I love it.
I think it's also because when you wear red lipstick, it's like you can't really kiss anyone.
That's the thing.
Unless you're wearing that lip stain, they just
right.
That'll be hard to. You need alcohol to like remove.
It is hard. It's definitely going back to dating more like a first or second date.
It can be intimidating.
It says basically, don't touch my lips.
Don't touch my lips.
Or then when you're more settled into the relationship or whatever, and you don't really care that.
Yeah, guys don't really like red lipstick, but I think that's why it makes women feel so empowered wearing it.
It's just very bold, and it makes a strong statement.
So that's it for this episode of The Fourth Wave. Remember to try this at home. Think about what your deal breakers are for dating and write them down. Let us know if you've tried it and if it worked for you.
You can get in touch. Mirtha's on Instagram at Mirtha Michelle, and I'm Jamie_Barada. Our email address is info@theivywave.com. Send us your comments and feedback. Until next time, I'm Jamie Barada.
And I'm Mirtha Michelle.
Thanks for joining us.
Till next time.